This episode is for you. If you want to know how to kill the boss of the second area in Dark Souls. So we're going to climb up this ladder, and I would encourage you to be human, and the reason why is here we have a buddy that we can summon, Knight Solaire. He will only show up when you're in human form, and he only shows up up to a certain level, and I'm actually not sure what the level is. Thankfully in this playthrough he is showing up, and as you can see, his bright glowing sign, very difficult to miss. But he comes in with the, Knight Solaire, comes in with the, pose. It's just ridiculous. I love this guy. And as you can see, because of the covenant he's in, he's actually glowing gold. So, nice little helpful thing to have. And I promise to show off this gold pine resin. Yes, I shall. Now, this is another one of those bosses where you don't get attacked the moment you walk in through the door. You actually have to walk a certain distance. Up, that gave it away. But you come in here, tons of gargoyle statues. Now this enemy can be a pain in the butt, especially if you are fighting him. 1v1. There we go. But we have a shield, and I'm choosing to use the scimitar because I'm lightning enchanted. I lightning enchanted it. But what you're going to want to do is cut off his tail first, and with a 100% block shield, he can be very easy. Now, when you get him down to half-life, a second gargoyle will jump down, and he will actually come down with half-life as well. Now, he's missing his tail, so you cannot get two gargoyle axes. But as you can see, lightning damage does quite a bit of damage, and we're going to give Solaire a hand since he's been distracting this gargoyle. That hurt. And Knight Solaire just cast a lightning bolt. And wow, we actually got a lot off of this boss. We got its tail, his shield, and his helmet. Then we got 10 humanities for defeating this boss. And then we got a sunlight medal from bro-opping, as I'm going to be calling it, with Knight Solaire. So, a lot of things from that little battle. So to show it off, because this helmet is actually going to be a great addition onto our character. Look at all those stat increases, and the only problem is that the weight goes up, and it only goes up by 0.5. So I'm not missing a whole lot on that, and I'm still underweight. With a lightning enchant on a scimitar, fast weapons can be very, very lethal. I'm going to unequip those, though, for the time being, and I still don't have enough strength for this weapon. But you actually can cut off his tail to become to make it into a weapon for you. And there you can see a bunch of counters came up on me. The top one, which is purple, is poison. The middle one is called plague, and the bottom one was bleed. That puncture wound is bleed. This actually increases your resistances to those things. So now all those meters have extended, giving me a bigger meter. Another thing I don't like about this axe is it's kind of clumsy. I mean, there's the R1s, 3 R1s in a row, and they don't chain together. I already dislike weapons that don't chain together. However, it has a cute little animation when you R2. The tail will bend, which doesn't give you any real benefit, and you can't chain together the R2s either. So my love for this thing is actually very thin, and it actually doesn't do a whole lot of damage to justify not having a more balanced moveset on it. I don't know if I actually will showcase that weapon. I mean, that was it. There's my showcase for it. You have a basic kick. Your jump attack is still a decent jump attack. And if you're building a more defensive character, if you fear being poison plagued or bleeding damage, that would be where you're going to want to use this axe. At the moment, not a big fan of it. I'll equip the Uchi Katana because at the next bonfire we go to, we will upgrade, and I'm actually now overweight, so I'm going to be running a little bit more sluggish. So let's see, is there any way for me to fix that? Nope, I just have to put more points into endurance. So for the time being, since I'm going to be running around, we'll equip my rapier and my scimitar because I do like the faster moving weapons. Eventually that will change in this playthrough. I'll use some heavy weapons to showcase their immense power. And obviously as you get later in the game, you actually want to just be doing intense damage. You don't necessarily, depending on your playstyle. But you come up here and we ring the first Bell of Awakening. And we get a homeward bone. As I promised, from every boss you kill, you will get at least a humanity. We got twin humanity off of this boss, which was very convenient and kind of ironic since there was two of them. But that's where you get the homeward bone. Now, at the moment, my last save point that I rested at a bonfire was way back where the Drake was. So I'm not going to activate it just yet. And there's a closer bonfire. So if we come down this ladder... Oh, whoa, whoa! Whoa, you were not here before. After you ring the Bell of Awakening, certain things in the game will change for you.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Kareem, the Pardon. Thou art a friend. For thee, a warm welcome. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sin is my domain.
So here's something really interesting. So there we get the pose, which he's doing, which is actually kind of misleading because that's not actually what the pose looks like. But if you remember, I killed an NPC, so I actually have sin. Now, sin in this game is based upon your current level, your soul level, times a certain amount of souls. And at the moment, it's looking about to be like 500 souls per level that I have. Now, because I'm playing offline, I have no reason to request absolution for sins. So I'm just going to play with the sin character and see if anything actually happens from that, because I never have. If you play online, that can actually be quite a nuisance to have sin on you. And I, again, will explain why later. Although it's kind of pretty obvious just from what I've said. You can abandon your covenant from him, and he will give you a full pardon. So right now I'm part of the covenant called Way of the White. If I abandon that, I will lose 1 Estus Flask. Not a big deal, because all you have to do is rest at a bonfire, and you'll get 1 Estus Flask. But if you're ever curious to know what happens if you abandon a covenant, there are detriments to it. Unless you come here to Oswald, who will let you abandon it for free of a penalty. Or if you have sin, this is where you need to go clear it up at. So, if you want to play in human form, you're going to want to make sure that you're sinless. Come in here and you get some items that he sells. A Purging Stone. Quickly said, it causes curses to be removed off of you. And there's only 2 points of the game, maybe 3, that I'll make a mention of that. Very, very few and far between. I would not encourage buying them off of him, especially this early in the game. An Indictment. So if you're playing this game online, and somebody invades you and kills you, and you have one of these, you can actually report that player. After they kill you, a little sign will come up saying, do you wish to use one of your indictments, and it will show you how many you have on hand. And you can indict the player, which means that he will become part of the Book of the Guilty. Now, some players, I don't know if you can actually read the Book of the Guilty and invade somebody based upon how much guilt they have, or how much sin they have, but that is, you can buy this to see who has the most sin. Usually people who have the most sin, they're actually very decent at PvP, so it's actually difficult to fight them. But if you want to kill people who have gone over and killed other people, this is where you can read that. Over here, he has a Miracle, which is a little odd. It's costing 40,000 souls. I will not be buying this. I will not be showcasing this, probably. If I do buy it, it'll be very late in the game or on a different character. But it's called Karmic Justice, and what it does is if you're taking too much damage from physical damage, so from a sword, from an axe, something like that, this spell kind of acts like that spell that I have called Force, but it does massive damage. So it's a cute little counterattack. Slots 1 and then uses 4. So, cute little miracle to have. You get Velka's Talisman, and here's something very misleading. Is that you're going to look at this and you're going to see the A rating on it, and you're going to be like, oh wow, that's a great talisman. Well, it has a low base, and then if you're not really paying attention, this is not your faith stat. This is your intelligence stat. Over here is your faith stat. So if you want to make a mixed spellcaster, like a sorcerer, that's still able to cast sorceries, this is the talisman you would use to do that. And this talisman scales off of your intelligence, not your faith, but it does allow you to cast miracles. So if you have, let's say, 30 intelligence, this talisman would be a fantastic talisman. I'm not going to be buying it because it requires 16 intelligence to use, and I do not have any intelligence. I have 11. He also sells 3 rings, which can be very useful. Ring of Sacrifice, which we know what that does. And then a Poison Bite ring and a Blood Bite ring, which respectively encourage your poison resistance and bleeding resistance by 50%. I will not be buying those. 15,000 souls, that's about all I have on me right now. Not worth it. So, that's it, Oswald.
Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
Nice creepy laugh. And also I haven't shown off, if you press triangle on the screen, you can reset some of your gestures. So to do that, since I've not shown off those, that's what we get from Petrus, is cute little shrug. And then what we just got from Oswald, nice cocky little strut. Alright, so now we have a few errands to run. So if you're not interested in watching me run errands, and like, you know, no fighting at all, you might want to just skip this video and move on to the next one. If you're interested, things to come up, we're going to meet the first blacksmith of the game. We are going to meet a firekeeper and use that firekeeper soul that we got. And last but not least, that's weird. Broke the bench, but not all of it. Actually, that might be all that we're doing for now. Yep, that sounds like all we're doing for now. So I promised you a bonfire. So we're going to come this way, and we're going to run our little heart's content out. And there you can hear the blacksmith. Oh, there's actually somebody else we can meet. I forgot about that, so we'll go meet him as well. So first things first, we're going to light our bonfire, and then we're going to rest at it because we actually are doing pretty bad on souls. And here we're going to level up. So first things first, I want enough strength to equip some of these weapons that we've been getting. And there we go, our dexterity's maxed. And strength, I'm probably going to cap it off around 20. I don't know if I'll go above 20 strength. There are some amazing weapons that you can get up in the 30s. I just don't know if I want 30 strength on a character that I'm doing for an LP. So I probably will cap off strength around 20, maybe a little bit higher to showcase certain weapons. I'm not sure. Probably not, though. So there we go. 17 strength and 20 dexterity. Character's looking pretty well-rounded. We're going to access our bottomless box because this white soap sign we're not ever going to be able to use, so we're going to put that away. Sunlight metal, we're not going to be able to use that for quite some time, so we'll put that away to just clear up inventory space. Fire bombs we'll keep with us. I would put these throwing knives away, but as you can see, that little stamp there means that I have them equipped, so not going to be able to do that. What else do we not need? Twin Humanities. You gain 2 humanities instead of 1. Whoop-de-doo. Not sure why the game has those, but whatever, could be something fun to find. Again, we're coming up to a blacksmith, so we actually want to take some of these weapons with us. for upgrading. We don't have enough strength for that. Like I said, we're going to be using that Uchi Katana. I'm probably going to upgrade that. You can upgrade this Gargoyle Axe. Again, I'm not going to showcase it, so I'm just going to put that away now. Reinforced Club, you're officially gone. Spear, I'd rather use the Rapier. Halberd I can now use, and there is another room I can show that off in. Ooh, Kakaita's Shield, that scene will be coming up almost, like, very soon. Oh yeah, the Gargoyle Shield, I didn't show that off at all. Decent shield, it has very high lightning and fire resistance to it. And that's about it. Doesn't do anything else, so we're not going to use that. Put those bolts away, because I never plan to use them again. Crossbow, if that's still in my inventory, get the heck out. We still have our armor set. We'll put away the things that we're never planning on wearing. So yeah, there's the Hollow Warrior, and then there's the Hollow Soldier, so there's the two numbers. Pause and compare at your leisure, but the Hollow Soldier's better, except for thrusting damage. And this chain helmet we're not going to need ever again, so we'll put that away. And we still only have the one ring. La-ti-da. Alright, so first we're going to run across this to this giant freaking gate. Not the fastest runner. Yeah! They're not letting me in. Why aren't they letting me... Is that an onion? And if you notice, his head will actually kind of face in the direction that you're standing.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall. Or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge. No matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak. Still closed. Still closed.
So, unfortunately, he's waiting for that gate to be opened, and we can't do a thing about that. So, now we're going to go talk to the blacksmith, which is who I actually really meant to talk to, and completely spaced on. But yeah, that was a very fat looking suit of armor. Look at him, he's a frickin' titan! It's not just a blacksmith. Look at that hair! Like, that's not a hairstyle in this game. I cannot make my character look like that. That's unfair. I want that hairstyle. I want that beard. I would have made a male character if I could make him look like that.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astora. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
And again, certain characters will teach you certain gestures, so we get a new gesture from him.
Most weapons and armor are mighty sturdy indeed, but every hunk of metal has its breaking point. If you notice durability running low, it's time to repair. You can ask a blacksmith like myself, or do it on your own with a grindstone. The nice thing about weapons, they never betray you, so pay them a little respect, hey? There are two types of weapon forging. There's reinforcement and there's ascension. Reinforcement is simple. It strengthens the weapon and nothing more. A simple task for any blacksmith. Hell, you could even do it yourself with a smith box. But ascension's a finer art. It alters a weapon's properties. Ascension is the territory of we blacksmiths. A smith box just won't do the trick. Start out with reinforcement. When that loses its charm, you can consider ascension. As you've noticed, this land is flush with the mad and wicked. You won't make it through the night without employing my services.
And unfortunately, that's a very true statement. So here you can repair the equipment, and as you can see, some of our equipment has lost some durability, including our armor. So generally you're going to want to repair. I'm going to hold off on that for now. You can reinforce your armor, so if you want to reinforce things like this, as you can see, the stats will slowly start to climb up. This is not what I plan to be using through the rest of the game, though, so I'm actually not going to upgrade any of those just yet. You can reinforce most of your weapons, not necessarily all of them, because they're requiring those Titanite shards we've been finding. And even if they're in our bottomless box, we can still access them, which is a very handy little trick. But we're not going to do that either. And then modifier, special emerald required for blacksmiths to ascend weapons. So last but not least, we're going to purchase something from him. So he does sell Titanite shards, so if you have enough souls, or if you feel like grinding for a while, you can just buy shards off of him. Although he only sells them one at a time, so it'd be a lot of souls. Here he sells you a bunch of things, like the Crest of Artorias. Crest opens a sealed door in the heart of forest. He then also sells you the Weaponsmith box, the Armorsmith box, and a repair box. Now the last vendor that we slain also sold us a repair box, but it was 3,000. This vendor it's 2,000, so I'll do some off-screen grinding just to buy up those three. I could grind for the Crest of Artorias. Bloody hell, I probably should. I'll probably actually go online to do that and do some multiplayer for the gargoyles. If anybody would like to see any of those runs, let me know. Otherwise, I probably won't record them, or I'll make a new character and do some recording on that. But he does sell you some weapons as well, such as the longsword, the broadsword, a bastard sword, which is kind of like the downgraded version of that claymore that we found. So if you are having problems with that Drake, or you can't do what I was doing to that Drake, come here and you can just buy the bastard sword. Probably a lot easier on you. So let's do the battle axe, the war pick, and Caestus. At least that's what I'll be calling them. I believe they're Latin, so Caestus. He also sells you the spike, which is one of the longest spear weapons in the game, but requires 24 strength to wield. He sells you some new shields, and these things are actually pretty light, 3 pounds with 100% block. And they just look different. Other than that, there's no differences between the two of them. And then last but not least, he sells you arrows. So if you made the mistake that I didn't kill that vendor off, you can still buy arrows. So I'm not going to be buying anything. I'll do some off-screen grinding and I'll buy out at least one of everything that he has. I don't know if I'll actually be showcasing everything, because that's consuming way too much time. I'll see whatever I can showcase in certain areas, and I'll show it off as best I can. So for now, I'm just going to buy a bunch of arrows.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Lovely little gesture. That's actually the next zone we're going to be going into, so I'm actually going to ignore that area for now. Now, I've rested at this bonfire. Now, if I kindled it... Actually, I will kindle it. We'll just save ourselves some trouble. We're going to kindle it. This way, this bonfire gives us 10 humanity when we rest at it. So, nice little benefit there. And then that will also be helpful, because the next area we're going to, I can just use our Homeward Bone and instantly teleport back here, and I'll be able to showcase that finally, because if I don't, I may never. I'm honestly just going to say... I might never showcase that. Oh, can we equip some of the new weapons? Claymore we can equip. I'll be heavy. But one-handed Claymore, so if you're into these big, beefy weapons, very slow, but make your attacks count. But there's them at their best. Just pretty... Oh, shoot! Wow, okay. Sorry, I was not expecting that attack animation. Gotta get it close for that. And actually, I don't want to try to parry that. There we go, 190. Oh, that running animation is actually pretty freaking sweet, I have to confess. Especially because it's a sweeping attack and it's very fast. I like that. But there's my showcase for it, never using it again. Katana. This is what's called the Uchi Katana, and now again, that big guy's not there, and that Chancellor does not respawn. Although the Balder Knights on the lower level respawn. So what I'll be doing is I'll be grinding against those, and then running upstairs and killing everything up there, and then running back to that bonfire, while I wait for people to summon me in multiplayer. So that is gonna be my grinding circuit. But if we come here, we can stand on this, and now we're gonna open up a shortcut all the way to the beginning of the game. And I actually might grind and buy some new miracles as well. But if you don't recognize where we are, we're at Firelink Shrine. I love how the game actually does introduce it. And here's good old Petrus.
Oh, hello. Miracles, I presume? Yes, I know.
So I already bought a talisman from him, which was stupid because I already have one equipped. I found it in that chest. I meant to buy that one, which is 5,000, and it just starts off with a much higher magic adjust, but it only has a C rating for faith. So eventually, if I kept putting points into faith, this talisman would become better. But in the meantime, this Thorlin talisman will be better. So I will do some off-screen grinding to get that. And I'll also get like things like this, like Homeward, which 8,000 souls, it basically acts as a Homeward bone. I don't think this is worth a miracle slot. I can't believe the game did that, but if you have a tendency of using Homeward bones a lot, this miracle could be a great miracle for you. You get one use out of it. Now, if anybody's thinking, one use, that's stupid. Well, it teleports you back to a bonfire, and if you rest at that bonfire, you get the use back. So nice and simple. I will get Great Heal Excerpt, which actually you only get one use of that as well. But it basically, for a while, it's going to fully restore our HP. However, it does require 14 faith, so I'm not sure if I won't grind for that. I probably won't grind for any of these. Seek Guidance is good if you're playing online. It'll allow you to see more signs on the ground. I don't know if it allows you to see more summon signs. I'll have to test that online as I'm playing that later.
Come again.
But I promised you we were going to go talk to the Firekeeper, but first we need to talk to this coward.
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Well, don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide.
You're not very encouraging, sir.
Don't you ever think to forge your weapons?
I do.
You'd better find a smith box soon. Unless you enjoy swinging about with blunt instruments. What's wrong? Get a bit of a scare out there? No problem. Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it.
The unfortunate thing is, I wish the game would actually let you sit down next to him.
Well, what are you going to do? I've already decided. I don't really care. I'm simply crestfallen.
So that's why I call him the Crestfallen Warrior.
How did that silly sorcerer's apprentice end up? You know, the one always prattling on about Master Logan. He left for the Undead Burg, but never came back. Serves him right. If even old Big Hat can't make it out there, what chance does he have? I hope he enjoys his new life as a hollow. What now? I'm not up for chatting. Leave me alone.
You just talked for the last, minute and a half, sir. So I could rest at this bonfire since I used an Estus flask, and I actually don't remember when I used an Estus flask, but whatever. used one. But when did I use an Estus flask? Makes no sense. Oh, and here we have Lautrec.
Ah, hello there. I have your reward. Please, accept it. I am grateful to you for freeing me. Not enough for you? Well, let's not be greedy now. You again. What is it? Our futures are murky. Let's not be too friendly now.
Now, I think if you talk to the Crestfallen Warrior, or if you talk to Lautrec, I'm pretty sure it's Lautrec, if you talk to them while you're hollowed, not in human form, they have a different conversation for you. I don't know if I care to show that off, because that just means dying and then recollecting humanity. I'll say that it's Lautrec who says it, but he says, like, oh, look at your face, you're practically hollow. Well, there's a few ways to go back getting humanity. They don't tell you that you can find it off of bosses, but yes, you can find it off of bosses. What they encourage you to do is if you go around killing everything that you can find, you can scrape together little bits of humanity off of them. So after you gain enough souls, and I'm sure that there's some number, like X amount of souls per level will give you 1 humanity. So if you're like level 23, let's say times that by 500, and maybe, I really don't know the number and I don't care, it's something I never pay attention to, you'll eventually gain humanity. So there is an advantage to actually not leveling up, is that you can get more and more humanity, but obviously the game's going to be harder and harder the more deep into the game you go. Or he tells you that if you go around killing people, you can use their humanity. Like, if you kill somebody, you'll gain their humanity, in which case who's better off using it, you or them, if you were able to kill them. So Lautrec's already getting more and more shady by the second. But here we have a Firekeeper. No response. She cannot speak. No response. She still cannot speak. Reinforce Estus Flask. Use Firekeeper Soul to reinforce Estus Flask. Yes. Estus Flask reinforced. And then leave, and we barely, it doesn't even acknowledge us, just does the deed. That actually is going to end this episode. Next episode, I will be up there. I'm going to homeward bone in a second. But to show off this katana's moveset, you start off with a pretty vertical swing. That can be good or bad. I like it because that means in hallways I don't have to worry about my weapon hitting the side walls as much. And then as well as the R2 makes this weapon a stabbing weapon. Unfortunately, there's actually no secondary R2. There's no combo out of that R2. But this is basically like your samurai sword of the game. So there was R1, R1, and then an R2. But it has nice vertical swings, which can be good for when you need to kill a crystal lizard. Nice powerful strike. And then even better is that these katanas can cause bleeding, which can make them very powerful. So if you want a super powerful weapon in the game, killing that first vendor and getting 14 strength and 14 dexterity can be a very good option for you. Ooh, and there's a sweeping attack on it, is the rolling attack. Good to know. And then the guard break is just a kick, unfortunately. And then the jumping R2s are a really weird downward stab, which I never understand why this game does. And it's also why I call it a plunging attack, not always necessarily a jumping attack. But, oh well, them's the breaks. The next area we go through, I will be playing with this. And again, I'm going to do some off-screen grinding, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time on Dark Souls. Ta-ta!